Good morning, and we welcome you to this weekly devotional. I want us to consider a couple of things this morning, but namely the majestic or the majesty of God, the greatness of a God that's around us that we often fail to see, we often fail to realize, we often fail to take hold of that greatness that can lead us through life and give us that which we need. As I look, there are many things that are without explanation. We might scientifically tell someone how these things came about, and yet we cannot reconstruct that situation. I want us to go to Genesis, the first chapter. I want to read the first 10 verses. And I want us to think about what he's saying. He said, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, Let there be light, and there was light. And God saw that light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning the first day. And God said, Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it be separate, and let it separate the waters from waters. And God made the expanse, and he separated the waters and that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse. And it was so, and God called the expanse heaven. And there was evening, and there was morning the second day. And God said, Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw that it was good." These things, as we read them, should amaze us that those things were created. This earth that we live on, the oceans, the grandeur of many lakes and mountains, the sky in itself, in the day or at night, either one, should bring us to a point of looking at it and saying there must have been someone great create this. Those things that are so beautiful. And as he finishes up the creation, in verse 31, he says, And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good, and there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. He says this as he finishes the creation of man himself. It is one of those things that seems to be a working of power that we cannot get a hold of one that is great. I woke this morning, and for being midwinter, it seemed to be a spring type day. I had begun water on a front lawn, and I looked out, and it was full of robins. And as I had went outside, I realized there was a difference in the morning air. There's something more there than there's been the last few days. And I began to think on these things and think back on memories of things that I had seen and done in childhood, the smell, the sounds, all of those things. I began to reflect on the greatness of God and his creation, the things that he's given us. And yet this creation is not the greatest thing that God has bestowed upon us as a gift. We have to remember that he created all of these things for us. And that as we look, that he has a spiritual place for us, a place to begin to look to God, to seek him, to do the things he says before us. And that he offers us something far greater than this world, We can only imagine what that is as we look into this world and we see the greatness that is there. Can we imagine that which belongs to us if we give ourselves over to Him? In Psalms, the 48th chapter, he says, "Great is the Lord and greatly to be praised in the city of our God, His holy mountain. Beautiful in elevation is the joy of all the earth. Mount Zion in the far north, the city of the great King. Within her citadels, God has made Himself known as a fortress. For behold, the kings assembled. They came on together. As soon as they saw it, they were astounded. They were in panic. They took flight. Trembling took hold of them, their anguish as of a woman in labor. By the east wind you shattered the ships of Tarshish. As we have heard, so we have seen in the city of the Lord of hosts, in the city of our God, which God will establish forever. We have been thought on your steadfast love. We have thought on your steadfast love, O God, in the midst of your temple. As your name, O God, so your praise reaches to the ends of the earth. Your right hand is filled with righteousness. Let Mount Zion be glad. Let the daughters of Judah rejoice because of your judgments. Walk about Zion, go around her, number her towers, consider well her ramparts, go through her citadels, that you may tell the next generation that this is God, our God forever and ever. He will guide us forever." This is said in a time when Judah was at its height, when they realized the power of God. They knew there was something great there. They knew that there was a city, was that which would guide us forever. Not just in their time, in our time, in the next generation's time, in the next generation. But there was a coming of His Son who gave us that which we needed to have this eternity with God, a place that He has built for us, a place that is far greater than anything we see here on this earth. And yet we look about and we see the majesty of God. Can we imagine that place that He has built for us? If we follow Him, if we give ourselves over to Him, His willingness to care for us, His love for us, His creation that He has made perfect for us, an eternity in heaven with Him. I want you to look around yourself today. I want you to begin to really think about what you see. Even if it's these old windmills that we have out here that are producing electricity. I began to think about this morning the immense amount of creation in a man's mind. To give him the ability to think and create such things, sometimes to our detriment. But the beauty of the mind that God created is so far advanced that we cannot understand it. We may talk about it in science and have knowledge of it, but we can't recreate it. We've tried through computers and through all of these other things, and yet we can't recreate that mind that God built in man. And as we look, maybe we can imagine or we can see the great beauty that God has bestowed upon us to view every day and strive to imagine that which He has offered us or promised us as children of His, this eternity in heaven. I hope that you can have a good weekend. I hope that you can begin to see the beauty of God and the grandeur of all that He has created, but more than that, the grandeur of the promise He has made for us, knowing that He is with us forever and ever. May God bless you, and thank you so much for being here.